Good evening, everybody. Welcome once again to the FDP second day session. The next resource person is Subin Varghese, Assistant Professor of Department of English, Lissa College, Kaidapoil. Now, a special relationship between Subin and me is that, during his college days, I found him to be very active in computers. And it was actually a sort of soulmate for me to do lots of practices using the computer through him. Lots of best teaching practices came out those days. And I'm thankful to Subin. Now he is giving us tips and tricks, including today morning, I got a new tip and trick from him. So over to you, Dr. Subin, and please go ahead.
Thank you so much for inviting me into this function. I believe that I am audible and visible too. And
Yes,
my
you are.
screen
Yes,
for
you
you.
are.
Right. This session will be exclusively for teachers who are using Google Classroom and Google Meet and Google Calendars. These three are the major things which we will look into. So I would like to know how many of you are using these three applications, especially Google Meet and Google Classroom. If yes, please leave a message in the chat box. Yeah, and Mary VM says yes. I think it's a yes. Okay, I'm receiving messages. Let me see. Okay, okay. Now give a message whether you are using Google Meet or Google Classroom. Can you be more specific?
You could say one or two, maybe.
Yeah, one or both.
One for Google Classroom.
Okay, majority of them are using both Google Meet and Google Classroom. Fine, sure. Right, good. And I was really astonished to see many of our registered participants were using Google Domain ID, which means a G Suite ID. Here again, that's a kind of privilege. Yeah, majority of them are using both Google Meet and Google Classroom. Fine, good. So I'll be dealing with how to move through all these in a simple trick, or how I make it do happen in my classroom. This is what I'm going to look into it. Okay, and myself, I'm Subin Varghese. I work in Department of English at Lissa College. It's in Calicut. So the contents which we are going to deal with today will be Google Calendar. How are we going to integrate Google Calendar, Google Meet, and Google Classroom? The tips and practices which you can, best practices which you can follow in Google Classroom and Google Meet, and sharing the screen. So majority of people who have called me up and asked me had a query about sharing a video on a Google Meet platform. Do you have such a question? If you have, please do message it as yes. If you had a problem while sharing a video through Google Meet platform, you may please put it in the chat box as yes. Okay. Anita Rose says yes. Yes. Two. Let me see. Let me count it. Audio problems. Yes. And maybe yes. And others. Yes. I'm glad to see that many of you are trying to show videos through your Google Classroom and Google Meet platform. And have you tried and find out any other ways to fill this thing? We'll look into it. Okay, right. So these are the contents which we'll be looking into. Moving on to the next slide. Now, before beginning into the session, I would like to tell you why should you move on to these kind of platforms, like rather than sharing a link from your WhatsApp account or sharing it through your social media platforms. Why should you really look into the security of your classroom? This is a newspaper cutting which came in a leading Malayalam newspaper. It was a few days ago. I hope I'm audible.
Subin, you may have to just generally explain what this is.
Yeah, sure. I'll just explain it. It is like this. People, outsiders, they are trying to intrude into the classrooms. Now, how did this happen? Once you share a link through a public platform like WhatsApp or Telegram or such things, anyone with that link can join into the classroom. Just like our Zoom platform, which we are using, we too had difficulties. When we have a larger audience, just like Prashant sir was mentioning, we English teachers always have a larger audience because of general English classes. It might go up to 100, 120, and 150. So we find it difficult to identify who is who. And even now, Government of Kerala itself have decided to make another step into it. They have decided to move on to G Suite, or rather put it as Google Workspace, for more secured classes and more secured meetings. So isn't it necessary that we have to secure our classrooms from outsiders? And that is why we are moving on to this kind of platforms. Beginning with Google Calendar. I know a majority of you might be using Google Calendar, so I don't want to explain or waste your time in this thing. Rather, going through simply telling you that it helps you spend less time managing your schedule and more time enjoying it. This is what Google tells about it. It makes your life easy, actually. You can use your calendar application from your mobile phone or your device, any other device which you are using. You can schedule a meeting with a Google Meet if it's possible, if you want it. All those things are available. And even from Gmail, suppose you get an invitation through your Gmail account in your email, you can add it directly to your Google Calendar. And that helps in you reminding, or the Google itself will remind you in specified notifications. You can fill your calendar quickly and easily from any device which you want, and it has been safely backed up. I'll give you an example what happened in our department. We had to find out the date of a particular department meeting which was held in our department. And fortunately, since it was done through Google Meet, we had planned it in the Google Calendar. So I just had to go through the months. When was the last meeting? And I found the exact date and time even. So this is how we plan and do it in our college. So I think you can also try it out in your institution. And all our events are being stored online. Google Meet, another example for having a very large conference meeting, and Google Meet was once a paid feature, but now it's been made free for every Gmail users. But the thing is that you will be having only 100 participants. That's the maximum. Or you have to pay it into an enterprise version or a Google Suite option. Then you will have another 150 more, which makes it 250 participants. Premium video meetings with which is now free for everyone, and meeting safely, since it is made by Google. You always have the security of Google. Anywhere and anytime, any device it might be, you can join in, and moreover, it's more clear also, right? So, and Google Meet adjusts to your network speed. That's exactly why we prefer to use Google Meet, because we have students from rural areas who they may not have even 3G connection. And successfully, we have conducted a Viva today from a rural place known as Kutiadi, where the person who came in had least connectivity. So that still worked, and we have a recording of that for further references. So this works in lower bandwidth also. That's the specialty of Google Meet. In Google Classroom, again, you are using it. You can add students directly, or you can share them or invite them. Even now, you people are being invited into a Google Classroom just to share all these things with you. Our PDFs or PPTs or video recordings and assignments and all those things are being shared into Google Classroom. I hope you are very familiar with it. So I'm not going into detail with all these things. Like if you have this easily communicate with guardians option, it is only possible for the G Suite operators, not for any Gmail users, only for G Suite option. So if your institution is an accredited in an university, you can apply for a Google Suite, G Suite application, which they refer and find it. If your institution is eligible to get it, you'll be aligned into it. You can grade your students from there. all those things I hope you know. Then again, if you have a paid version, G Suite Education for Enterprise version, you have a plagiarism checker even in assignments. If you are a paid version, using a paid version, you may look into that plagiarism option also. Then you can communicate with announcements into the stream page. You can restrict classroom activity to the members of the class alone, which means no one outside can join. You can load the class by changing or resetting the code or closing the link for invitation. And all your data, student data, has been saved, but it has not been used for any advertising purposes. That is what Google says about their privacy policy when you get into the Google Classroom. Now we are going to discuss about the Chrome extension, which are really useful for teachers. I don't mention it alone for particular subjects. These extensions are for teachers who are using Google Chrome browser only. So we always prefer you to use Google Chrome because it is more lighter and more faster than many other browsers which we have gone through. So these are the extensions. Extensions are smaller files which help you look into another website actually, or which works like an add-on supporting you or helping you to do something. So we are going to discuss few of them. Not everything can be discussed here, but few of them which I found really interesting and helpful for teachers. Beginning with the Google Meet attendance list. Let me ask to the teachers who are here, who are using Google Meet as their platform for communicating with your students, how do you take your attendance? Can you please put it in the chat box, or you can even open your mic and speak? That would be better, I hope. Please. You may kindly open your mic and speak. How do you take your attendance? Is it a manual attendance, or do you have any other facility to take attendance? Something which I don't know, so that I can learn it from you. Use Google Forms. Okay, Sam Johnson says use Google Forms. Good. That's a good idea. That's what we do here. Any other thing? Manual or download from Google Meet. That's also possible. Since you are using a G Suite ID, you can do that. Online attendance through college. Okay, that's a good idea. Attendance is automatically recorded when recording is on. Okay, Mohammed Salim says that. Okay, good. Again, that's only possible for the G Suite users. QR codes are possible with plugin. Okay, Sharanya, yes, that's good. Meet attendance. I hope you know this thing. Anish Kaya, good. Others. Okay, I think, are we here? Are we stopping here for the messages? Okay, fine. Good. Google Meet attendance list is one among the many extensions which are available on Google Chrome Store, where you can add it into your Google Chrome browser. And after each meeting, after each Google Meet, the attendance has been marked automatically with the exact login time of the person and even how many minutes that person was there in the meeting. So it helps the teachers to find out how many students were exactly there in the classroom and how much time did they spend with you people. Using a Google Form is also another method of taking attendance. That's what we always do. But Google Meet attendance list always helps us to find out whether the students were there for the full time. Right? So that is one. I'll show you all these extensions after explaining all these things. Moving to the next one, Screencastify. It's a screen video recorder. Most of the time, we would like to show something to our students, or you might have to show certain things which are to be recorded from your screen as it is. Screencastify is an extension which helps you record your video screen and your camera also. But the problem is, the free version only allows you to record for 5 minutes. 5 minutes of duration. But again, you have another thing now known as vMaker. It might be the short form of video maker sometimes. It is again another screen recorder, which is absolutely free, which you can look into. vMaker. Don't worry, I'll be sharing this PDF in the Google Classroom, so you can look into it. And all these are hyperlinks, which will be taken to the particular add-ons, extensions. You can directly add to your Google Chrome. Next one is Google Meet breakout rooms. As Prashant was mentioning here in this meeting, Zoom is a platform where you can make breakout rooms for meetings. And even in Google Meet, you have a facility to have breakout rooms, up to 100 rooms. But again, it's only for the paid users of domain ID. But this particular extension, Google Meet breakout rooms, will help you make umpteen number of rooms with number of students or people inside it. So you can monitor all these rooms. You can give discussion topics in each rooms, and you can stay outside of these rooms and monitor all these rooms. Google Meet breakout rooms. Another interesting fact is that Mote, M-O-T-E, Mote. Mote is actually an extension which allows you to send voice notes as a feedback. Suppose you want to comment on a student's assignment, a particular word, maybe that that sentence or that letter has been not correctly done. You want to correct that person. Rather than just typing in all these things, dear Subin, you have made a mistake in the spelling of this particular word. No, you can be more personal. You can use your own voice, and the same voice will be transferred as a comment to the student. Mote, M-O-T-E. I hope you are with me. Duelless. Now, this is an interesting extension which helps you teachers, myself also, which automatically breaks the windows into two different windows. Windows in the sense, the tabs, which you are using in Google Chrome. Duelless. You have you have different varieties of breaking it, maybe it in horizontal or vertical, or the proportion, you can change it. All those things are possible. Duelless is interesting because you can watch and monitor two different tabs at the same time. Next one is Edpuzzle. I think this is very common and you might have heard about it. Edpuzzle. Edpuzzle is an extension which helps you make short quizzes right from the video which you are recording or the video which you have seen from YouTube. Edpuzzle is yet another example. Grammarly, I think majority of us might have known about it. Grammarly. Grammarly is extension which helps you to correct your grammar and spellings, which obviously is very good for teachers, because when once a teacher makes a mistake, it has always been recorded by the student. And so always I prefer to use Grammarly, and it has a paid version also. If you have a paid version, you have many more things which you can do with Grammarly. Even plagiarism checking is available only in the paid version. Grammarly, else it acts as a very good extension for correcting your spellings and grammar. Read Aloud text-to-speech voice reader is another extension which helps you to listen to the things which have been written by the students, especially the assignments. Read Aloud is particular extension which helps you to listen to the text which is being typed out by a student of yours. That is another extension which I would like to convey to you. And you have a link here, the more button. When you click here, you have umpteen number of extensions which is actually going to help you deal with your students, and you are going to reduce your use of time also. So this is a list of extensions which I would like to teach you, and moving to the tips or best practices of using Google Classroom. And after all these slides, I will be going into the presentation also. I mean, I'll be showing you all these things also. The thing is how to share a video in Google Meet. And for the time being, I'm stopping the sharing for my presentation and moving on to another presentation. Like, okay. This is one method which I'm using to share a video in a Google Meet. It's like this. I begin a meeting. I'm starting an instant meeting. Okay, I think it's coming up. Prem sir, please tell me when the screen is up. Yeah, I think it's up.
Still trying to get in.
Yeah, fine. Yes.
Yeah, add others. Your meeting is ready.
Yes. So I am closing my camera and mic. Right. So this is my Google Meet. As you know, you are very familiar with this platform. So how do I share a video into my Google Classroom? Sorry, my Google Meet. So for that, what I do is I open a blank tab here. A blank tab has been opened. So is that up a blank tab?
Yes, blank tab is open.
Okay, fine. I think I'm facing slight network issue. That's why. Okay, fine. So what I do is I open a video which I would like to share from my my computer. Suppose this is my computer. I open my drive.
That's not coming.
Yeah, fine. Okay, it's taking time, a bit longer. I'm stopping my video, my present video camera. I'm switched off so that my network might be a bit more speedier. So is my screen coming up? No.
No, only this blank.
Fine. Give me a second. I'm going to the entire screen option. So sometimes it might mirror certain things. So please do understand the situation. Right.
Chapter 3, chapter 4.
Yeah, that's it. So I think you can see this particular thing as G Suite ID activation. This is a video which I would like to share to my students. So what I'm going to do is I select that video, click hold of it, I drag it to my, sorry, I've lost my electricity, please. Right. I'm selecting it and moving on to my new tab. I paste it there. What happens is automatically the video begins to play here. I pause it here. I adjust the timings. Then I go back to my meeting. And from there, I click on the present now button. Then I select a tab option wherein I have these different tabs coming out. I click on G Suite ID activation MP4. That's my file. I click on share and the video, this tab has been shared. And again, when I click on the play button, the video has been played to the entire students with the audio. See, I can even click and adjust the audio also. This is the method which I use to share a video with my students using Google Meet platform. I hope you understood. If you have any doubts regarding the same, you may contact me back. I would help you out in that. Okay. Again, what should be done in a Google Classroom to schedule a meeting? How can you schedule a meeting using your Google Calendar? Log on to calendar.google.com. When you log on to calendar.google.com, so is my screen ready, sir?
The screen is on calendar. Yes.
Yes. Okay, fine. So here is what I do. What I do is I click on the create button. I have the title and adding the title. All these things are visible and familiar to you, I hope. So what I do is, this is a test meeting. And how do I use it to make a rescheduled meeting every time? What can I do? I click on add Google Meeting conferencing. Then what I do is, you have does not repeat. I have to change it into the repeating days. So I click there. If I have the same meeting every day since today, I click on the daily option. Or suppose I have the same class tomorrow at another time, I click and change the time. Or if it's only weekly on every Wednesday, I click there. So depending upon your need, you can make it a recurring meeting, so that each time you needn't make a new link and share it with your class. So I save it. So what happened is, every Wednesday, the event has been saved. Every Wednesday, as you check, see, the test meeting has been prepared. So you needn't prepare the same meeting, or you needn't prepare meeting IDs for every day if you have a class on all these days. This is how I have prepared my timetable. See, you can, this is my account where I've prepared my timetable. Meeting of the Academic Council, that was in June, moving to July. Every day I have an hour at 8 to 9. Or each day I have different classes. So what I've done is, I've already prepared my timetable in my Google Calendar, so that I don't forget to make links and sharing it with my students. So every day the link is being shared there itself. And as you know, you have the facility to give notifications, isn't it? You have notification here. The notification time is 10 minutes. So what happens is, before 10 minutes, I'll be notified in my mobile, since my mobile has been synced with the Google Calendar app also. So what I do simply is, I share the link from then and there from my mobile to the Google Classroom. And this is how I integrate my Google Calendar with my Google Classroom. Suppose I want to share it with FDP SJC. I click on that link. I copy that link from my calendar. I open the classroom. Instead of posting it here in the announcement area, I kindly request everyone to click on the add button, then click on the link button and paste your link here. I have copied a wrong link, so that's the reason why it comes here. All these details coming in here. So I have to remove all these things. So all these details have been copied, so that's why it functions there. Okay. Now I'm going to add link. It's been added like this. I can type it here. I can even see this is mode which we have discussed earlier, which helps you to give a voice note. So even I can click on it and add a voice note if I want, or simply I can type it like join for the class. Join for the class. This is where Grammarly helps me. Unfortunately, I had made a mistake here, and just then Grammarly says that's incorrect. The correct spelling is THE instead of THEB. So what happens is I click on the correct option, and that's been corrected. Again, Grammarly says that I don't need to use for here. So again, I click it, I correct it. So all these things are possible because all these extensions are being used here. I hope you can see it on my screen on the top. This is where you can add your extensions. On the right top side, you have Grammarly. This is my Zoom scheduler. Another extension known as Adobe Acrobat, which helps you read the PDF on your browser. This is something known as WhatsSender, which helps you send WhatsApp messages directly from the Chrome browser. And this is what we are talking about, Google Meet attendance list. When I click open that, I can click open my meeting history, where all my meetings are being recorded. See, all the details of each student, all the classes which I've taken. Suppose this is my first meeting. I began using it on June 22nd, 2021. I click open that particular classroom, Appreciating Poetry, which I've taken. Each student who have logged into my classroom is here. The first seen status is here. And time in call, how much duration did each student last in my call is here. See, I have a person who have joined and left at 59 seconds. I can identify who is who did that. Saved here. I can even export this thing as a CSV file. But instead, what I do is I propagate or I share a form, Google form, as someone has mentioned in the classroom. So this is how Google Meet attendance list works. So again, if you want to add an extension, you have an extension icon here on the top right corner. You click the extensions. There you have the whole list of whole extensions which you have added onto your Google Chrome browser. You can pin it from here if you need it on the top itself. You can pin it from here. All these things are being done there. DLS, as I said, when I click on DLS, what happens is it suggests me what kind of windows I need. Whether it's a 4:6. When I click it, automatically it changes to 2 different windows. Suppose my Google Meet is happening in the left side window here. I can see whether my students are listening to here on the right side. How many students are waiting here in the classroom? I can look into it. Or suppose I want my students in the left side and my PPT on my right side, I can make it as it is. DLS is that particular function. Then moving on to the next one. It was about now how to avoid notifications from a classroom. You might be really wondering, how can I switch off the notifications from the classroom? The best method is to use your mobile phone to use it. It's like you can open your Google. Prem sir, can you allow me to share from my mobile phone? Prem sir?
Which is your phone? It's the
Subin Varghese itself.
Subin Varghese, one is co-host.
The other person.
SUB. Yeah, okay. Subin Varghese. Yes.
Right. Okay, let me share. No, sir, I'm not made the co-host.
It's not allowing me to. Oh, it's not allowing me to.
Okay, now it might be possible, sir. Can you?
Yeah. Do you? Yes.
Stop my sharing from the screen.
Yeah. Now it should be okay.
Now it should be okay. Fine. Let me see. Yeah. Sharing. I'm sharing my screen from my mobile phone. Yeah. So let me know whether. Is my screen present, sir?
Only your profile photo.
No.
Not yet. Okay, let me see. Yeah.
Coming up.
Fine.
Yes.
Fine.
Now it's okay.
So how do you click off your Google Classroom notifications? What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my Google Classroom application from my phone. I open my Classroom Classroom application on my phone. I think it's coming up. Yeah, my phone. This is my Google Classroom, as you can see, where on the left side you have 3 bars, which is the menu on the left side. When you click on that, you have the menu opening up there. It's coming up. It's taking a bit longer. Sorry, that's due to the network issue. Now you have my screen there. See, on the down there, when you scroll down there, you have the settings bar there. When you click on the settings, you have other options coming up, like updating photos, changing your name, all those things are being there. And there again, you have class notifications, an option for class notifications. When you click on that, class notifications, you click on that, these are the classes which I have in my phone. I've already clicked off FDP SGC. And again, if I want to off the notification from GE Psychology, I toggle it off. If I want to switch it on, I click it again and it's switched on. As simple as that. A simple trick which you can use to close the notification from your mobile phone. Right. I have stopped my sharing from my mobile phone. How do you share the same thing into different classrooms? I hope you are aware about it. Still, for those who are not familiar with using that particular feature,
You need to share screen.
Sure, sir. Sure. Again, yeah.
It's coming.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So if I want to share the same thing into different classes, how do I do that? You can click on this for button. When I click it open, I have all my classes here. Suppose I want it to be shared to the 4th sem MA English classroom. I just click on the tick, or I can even click on any classes it might be. Then what I do is I post it there. So you can see that it has been shared to 2 classes. When I click on the post button, it's been posted. So since I don't want to post it, I am discarding this message. So I'm reloading my page. I'm discarding that particular message because I want to show you another thing of reusing the same post. How can you reuse the same post which is being used here? Just besides your announcement banner, you have a button known as reuse post, where you can click it open to select the class. Okay, fine. I'm taking a post from third semester General English classroom. I'm clicking in on. If I want to borrow a meeting link which is being used by another teacher, I click it there, then I click on reuse. Same matter is being updated here. I can even make changes there. When I click on post, it's been posted into your classroom. So you needn't write the same thing again and again if you want to post it into different classes, or if you're posting the same thing again and again in your classroom, you needn't worry about typing it all the way. You can just click on the reuse button. Okay, I'm going to delete this thing because I don't want you to be confused about the links. So I'm deleting it from the my Google Classroom account. So these were the things which I would like to share with you during my presentation. So I hope you understood this procedures well. If you have any doubts regarding the same, you may ask it to me now.